Hello everyone. Of course it is Sunday, so that means it is Soul Sunday. And of course I'm Ruby, and this week's topic we are discussing relationships and entrepreneurship. So I'm actually just waiting for Allison to come on so I can send her, Allison to start watching so I can send her an invite. So let me actually do that right now while I'm waiting for, hey, how you doing? While I'm waiting for Allison to come on, Soul Sunday is pretty much where Allison and we go live weekly and we discuss different topics every week. May not be the most popular topics, but they still need to be discussed regardless. And like I said, this week Allison and I will be discussing entrepreneurship and relationships. Allison is a relationship coach. I don't want to call her a therapist, but she's a relationship coach. And my expertise, or my area of expertise, is entrepreneurship and mental wellness. So I work in that particular area, more so focused on the chakras. But with Soul Sunday, we've been doing Soul Sunday since November of last year. And with the exception of a few Sundays, we've pretty much done a show every single Sunday since November. The first was November the 15th. And all of those videos are uploaded on my YouTube channel. We've talked about so much. It's 8 months now. But we've talked about energy. We've talked about effective communication. We've talked about the chakras, mental wellness in the chakras. We've talked about sexuality in the chakras. We've talked about protecting your energy. I mean, we've talked about so much over the last 7 to 8 months. It's ridiculous. I'll actually share some of those videos, so if you want to go back and watch those, then you can. But yeah, Allison, where are you? You know, Allison's good for being out doing something and then rushing back home to get on live. But while I'm still waiting for her, let me just go ahead and talk to the replay viewers real quick. If you happen to watch this on the replay, just comment your name and where you're watching from so I can go back and thank you for tuning in, as well as we like to know how far we are reaching when we are having these discussions and our messages and whatnot. But while I'm waiting for Allison, again, like I said, this week's topic, we are discussing relationships and entrepreneurship. That particular topic I chose because, like I said, my area of expertise is entrepreneurship, hers is relationships. So it kind of gives us the opportunity to blend the two together and have a very interesting conversation. Allison, oh, okay, I was about to say, don't tell me it didn't send you an invite. I'm about to send you an invite now. Okay. I was waiting to get the indication that you were watching. I was like, wait a minute, hold up. But thank you everybody for tuning in. We really appreciate it. If there's anything that we say that resonates with you or you find beneficial in any kind of way, please be sure to share it. Hey girl, how you doing?
I've been on like 3 minutes waiting for the invite.
Oh, it never did tell me that you were watching.
I done shared the video. Yeah, I done shared the video and everything, just sitting here waiting on the invite.
Okay, well, my bad. I was sitting here like, Allison, you know you good for being somewhere, and they'll be like, okay, let me rush home so I can get on live. Yeah, good for that. But, and y'all, please excuse my hair. I actually just washed it last night, and I just twisted it up. And yeah, I'm actually gonna untwist it because I'm thinking about, putting my little protective style in there, but I don't know yet because I have to do it myself. But since Allison is here, we're gonna go ahead and get started. For everybody that don't know me, I am Ruby D, the Goddess Entrepreneur. I am the author of the Goddess Grind series, which is a series of books that I have already started to write And I'm currently working on that. Focuses on you becoming the best version of you in order to manifest success personally and professionally. And that's like probably the first time I've said that without stumbling. Yay, me. Look at you, Allison. Look at you. I am a speaker. I am a chakra expert. I am a radio personality, one half of Soul Therapy Radio. Yeah, I do all kinds of stuff. But enough about me. I'm gonna let Allison introduce herself.
She makes me sick thinking that I love her humility, but she knows she's doing way more than that. I'm gonna let it go
Girl, it'd be too much
though.
to name, so I'm just going. Your turn.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Well, peace and blessings, everybody. I am Miss Allison Denise of Allison Denise Coaching and Speaking and 501c3 nonprofit, the HDL Group, organization designed to show you how to heal, grow, and live beyond that relationship status by becoming better, not bitter, and enjoying your life along the journey. As Ruby mentioned when she didn't think I was on air, I am a relationship coach. I am also a transformational coach. And for those who don't know the difference between transformational and life, life tends to build you up from where you are. I don't mind getting down in the trenches and meeting you at rock bottom and helping you get back to ground zero so that you can move forward. I'm a speaker, I'm a teacher, I'm an author, I'm a blogger, one quarter of the Bag Squad radio show here in Dallas, Texas. And I am very grateful to be one half of Soul Sunday with my beautiful sister Ruby. And I am loving the topic today. Let's get to
Girl,
it.
okay. So, I bust out the whiteboard so I can see it over there because, of course, I'm not in the office
All
space.
right now.
I'm in my room, but I wrote on my whiteboard big enough so I can see it. So, of course, with this week's topic about relationships and entrepreneurship, the reason I wanted to discuss this is because we see the meme floating around saying, if I'm an entrepreneur, you're either gonna be an assistant or you just gonna have to kind of move off to the side, because I'm trying to do what I'm doing. And, you know, if you're not here to support that, then why are you here? Of course, that's not to say as entrepreneurships, as an entrepreneur, that we only want to be in a relationship with someone that's just going to work our business just as much as we do. No, that's not what we're saying at all. But what we are saying is with being an entrepreneur, our standards and our boundaries are quite a bit different, especially if we are single and an entrepreneur as opposed to already being in a relationship and then you become an entrepreneur. So I'm just gonna stop there and I'm just gonna go ahead and let Allison give her, 2 cents about this particular topic this week because I know she excited.
I am, man, I've been waiting like a kid at Christmas for this Sunday. I really have because I love this topic. So here's the thing, just like Ruby said, when we are talking about entrepreneurship and relationships, we are not saying that we just want someone who is going to work as hard as our business because even the person that loves us the most didn't get the vision. We did. So we're always going to want to put a little more effort in there. Nor are we saying, and I want to get this out of the way for the entrepreneurs who are listening that may be, agreeing with us right now. I also need my entrepreneurs to understand that we're also not telling you to make life about you. So that's not what we're talking about. We're not saying that the person for you is just going to have to fall in line with your program, your agenda, and not have anything going on for themselves. That doesn't make you an entrepreneur. That makes you selfish. Another topic for another day.
Exactly.
But what we do want to discuss are the wonderful benefits to entrepreneurship in terms of relationships. And we also want to help you realize, when you're really building, it's better to make sure that you're in a relationship that at the very least doesn't cause you to fall back on your dream. If it takes away energy that you can't put towards your dream, what do you do about it? But if that relationship is propelling you and giving you extra energy to go forward, what do you do about that? And so that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yes. So, as I mentioned, of course, there is a little bit of a difference when it comes to being an entrepreneur, a single entrepreneur, versus being a taken entrepreneur. Of course,
Yes.
I've been a single entrepreneur for quite a while now. And me and Allison, we talk about this quite often. In our little group chat about, you know, guys sometimes and then us being entrepreneurs, it's just like, well, um, this kind of guy and this kind of guy, not necessarily talking about the guy, but more so about us. And us
Mm-hmm.
being clear on what it is that we really want, because of course with us being entrepreneurs, both Alice and I are, um we sometimes we have to make it clear if we want a relationship while being an entrepreneur. We have to make sure that that's what our intentions are, and that's the energy that we're putting out, versus if you
Mm-hmm.
really don't want a relationship right now, then don't kind of go from one side of the fence to the other. If you know that's not where you want to be, just focus on your business and that's what you do. Whereas if you are an entrepreneur and you're taken, then it's just like, okay, you were already in this relationship and now you wanted to start this business. So I'm not saying that who you're
Mm-hmm.
in a relationship is not obligated to help you, because that's something that you started after the fact, especially if you didn't involve them, or if for some reason you didn't tell them about it. It was just something you just decided you were going to do. There's a
Right.
big difference there. So, first we're just
Mm-hmm.
going to talk about some of those different dynamics. Um, I'll start with me, for example. Um, yeah, I'm still on the fence. I want a relationship. I will say that. I do want a relationship, and
Mm-hmm.
this is not for anybody to be commenting, hey, pick me, pick me. No, I'm just telling you what my intentions are. I do want a
Mm-hmm.
relationship, but at the same time, I do also have to take into consideration all of the time and energy that I've put into building myself, building my brand, and building my businesses. And for those that know me, you all know that I don't have any children. Don't ask me when I'm having kids. Don't ask me if none of that. I'm almost 40, and that's just not on my radar. That's just not. But what is my
Mm-hmm.
baby is my business, because I put so much time and energy into that. So for me, it's important that he be interested. It's just like you can't, hey Rashida, you can't want me and not want everything that comes to me. Just like with Allison, she's a mother. You can't want her and not want her son. It doesn't work that way. So, for me, that's something that I take extremely seriously when I'm considering, dating someone, or, you know, possibly taking it to that next level if it gets there. But just know that there are certain things that I look for. If you've never asked me what I do or show any interest, then that's just like what I do. My purpose is my passion. That's a part of me, and that's who I am. And if you're not interested in that part of me, then you're just simply not interested at all. Allison.
I'm just gonna go right on with what Ruby is saying and add to it. So just like Ruby mentioned, there is a difference between someone meeting you as an entrepreneur and then someone meeting you before you become one. And so, like Ruby mentioned, we're gonna, sort that out a little bit later. But the biggest thing is just piggybacking off what she said. You have to be clear about where a relationship stands, where you are right now. If you know that you just want someone to, take care of that physical need 2, 3 times a week and then be left alone, then seek people who are okay with that. It's really okay. Here's the thing that we miss. There's no right or wrong when it comes to what you want for you. The right or wrong comes in when you hide that information from someone who's made it clear that they want something different.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the right and wrong comes in. So if you know, I just want a physical thing until I get this business off the ground, then look for people who are okay just having a physical thing and understand that there are, trade-offs with all of that. That will also mean that that person is not obligated to be exclusive to you. So understand that. If what you want, however, is someone who wants a relationship just like you do, then I implore you to not spend your time with people who are giving the indication, whether they're saying something else or not, if they're giving the indication that they don't want anything serious. As an entrepreneur, I'm begging you to let that person go, because you don't understand how much energy you are going to lose that could be going towards your business, dealing with a situation like that where you continue to invest your heart in a dead situation. So just walk away. It is the best thing, not just for you and your
Right.
mental health, but for your business. It's important that you do that. Now, once you make that decision, yes, you need to make sure that you're speaking it. You want to make sure that you're walking it. It is very important. Just like we want to believe for cars and houses, it's very important that you also walk out the relationship you want by being the person that
Hmm.
you want. That's how you will begin to attract it. But more importantly, that's how you will also lose a taste for people who don't have that same vibrational level. You won't make up excuses for why you should keep dating them, and you won't make up reasons for why you should keep dealing with them. You will lose the desire to deal with them at all. And the people that do want to reach out to entrepreneurs, you do need to understand that this is our baby. This is what we love to do. This is something that we're sacrificing for. This is something that we are thinking about day and night. This is something that is a priority to us. And we're not saying that you're not a priority should we get to that point. What we're saying is, if you want to get to know me, get to know my business
Hmm.
also. I had it, and I'll just give an example real quick before I hand it back off to Ruby. Don't reach out to me on Fridays at 9 o'clock, between 9 and 11 p.m. Central Time, 10 and midnight Eastern. Don't reach out to me between 9 and 10 Monday through Thursday, sending me an inbox, asking me how I'm doing, trying to set up a phone call. Don't do that, because you've already completely discounted yourself. You know why? Because everybody who follows me knows Monday through Thursday I'm doing a Facebook Live, and they know Friday night 9 to 11 I'm on a radio show. So if you're asking me what I'm doing and you just trying to, make a phone call, you've already eliminated yourself. Oh, you don't know anything about me. You haven't taken the time to do any research. You just saw a photo, hit a friend request, I accepted, and now you're going into your game. I'm gonna give you the peace out real quick, because I'm not down for that. You will not distract me. You just won't. So I'm gonna stop there. Back to Ruby.
Yes. And as a matter of fact, since you brought that up, Facebook gives us the ability to put a bio, to put things about us in our bio. Don't ask me what you
Yes.
do if you have not looked at my bio. I put information there for a reason.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
The next person to ask me where I'm from is getting blocked. So where you from? Where you live? What you do? I'm
That's
blocking you.
right.
Just
It's
putting that
like
out
all
there.
you saw a picture, send friend request. That's it. We need y'all to check out those bios because we put them there for a reason. We, as an entrepreneur, we just don't really have all that extra time for the small talk, especially on Facebook. It's different when we're in
Mm-mm.
person, but on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
it's completely different. But
That's
I'm
right.
exactly. Just like don't like right now, I do Soul Sunday every Sunday. Don't be sending me no DMs and no messages and all of that extra stuff. But
Mm-mm.
real quick, thank you everybody for tuning in. If you're just now watching,
Thank you.
Allison and I are talking about relationships and entrepreneurship. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Allison loves talking about relationships. I love talking about entrepreneurship. If you feel that anything that we're saying is beneficial, please feel free to share the video, comment below. We love engagement, ask
Mm.
questions. We love it.
Yeah.
Hey Robin, hey Coronado, hey Barbara, hey Bernadette. Thank you all for watching. And anybody that I missed, I'm sorry. The comments are just coming in, and but thank
Yeah.
you. But of course, another thing with us being entrepreneurs, we have a certain mindset. And we're not saying that we can't date someone that has an employee mindset. We don't mind the employee mindset as long as it's open. And the reason we say that is because, as Allison and I have both learned, and I'm sure other entrepreneurs have as well, but you have to think a certain way. You can't think inside this box as an entrepreneur. You have to think outside the box. And when we deal with situations and problems and whatnot that arise with our business, our first go to is not always to pray about it or to go back to work or to, anything like that. We have to think a bit more in depth. We have to trust the process. And if we come to you
Mm-hmm.
as a mate or a potential mate with a problem that we have, we don't want you to tell us, well, didn't nobody tell you to leave your job in the first place? You know what? Don't even worry about it. Thank you for clearing all of that up real quick. Because my next thing is
Bye.
exactly bye. Um, But on the other hand, if you're an employee, not believe us, we're not knocking employees at all because we were there and it serves a purpose and we completely understand that. But as if you come to us as an employee and we think as entrepreneurs, we're not going to tell you, the first thing we're not going to tell you is to quit your job and become an entrepreneur. No, because we know how hard it is. It is not an easy thing to do. And especially if we've made a sacrifice, do you know how much we have to give up or how much we have to let go in order to step out and become full-time entrepreneurs? Me and Allison, we don't get a regular paycheck like a lot of people do. And sometimes you and your extra and your negativity is not what we need, especially in those particular moments where we're finding it, a little harder than normal to find that motivation in
Mm-hmm.
ourselves. Trust me, we're not there dating you simply because it's just something to do. No, if we're dating,
Right.
then obviously we feel like we get some strength from you. We can trust you to be able to come to you and say, "Hey, I'm dealing with this and I need you to talk to," because Allison knows there's not a large pool of people that you can just talk to, especially being an entrepreneur. So we definitely need someone that has an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Allison, what's your take on that?
So my take is, when we're talking about, especially the initial stages of dating, one of the things that I want from a person who is about to date an entrepreneur, if you aren't one of the things that you have to understand is we're on a different level when it comes to things like what we're listening to, what we're watching. Those of us who want to be effective, those of us who want to be successful without it taking our whole lives, what we have made the decision to do is have a very truncated but concentrated amount of time where we are inconvenienced, going through a lot of growing pains, and dealing with a lot of sacrificing that we are putting on ourselves. We are basically signing up to have opposition. We're signing up to go without. We're signing up, but what is helping us to be okay with that is what we're reading, what we're watching, what we're choosing not to watch, what we're listening to, what we're choosing not to listen to. And one of the biggest things is related to us learning about consistency, being persistent, as well as, developing a schedule that works for us. And so, as someone who is coming in, understand that there is literally not 1 minute of our day where we don't have something that we could do. Now, we're not saying that that should mean that you should worship the ground we walk on, because I don't want that. I don't need it. That's another level of mental health that I'm not prepared to deal with. What I'm saying is understand that the time we're giving you, we are giving you. We're not just sitting around twiddling our thumbs. The times that we are making that effort and making that time to see you, we really are making that effort because we believe that you are worth it. We believe whatever it is that we're learning about each other or building together is worth it. but also understand that there may be a trade-off. You know, and I'll just speak for me. I have worked out what hours I need to work versus what hours I don't. One of my biggest problems in the 5 months that I've been doing this is I've been trying to figure out how to do a little bit all day. That's going to burn me out real quick. So I have learned I got to have a start time and an end
Mm-hmm.
time. And as Ruby mentioned, I'm also a mother. My son needs his time. He has let me know how much time he needs per day. I got to make sure he gets that time per day. So, for example, if you were to date me, our dates are going to have to be later for right now. It's going to have to be an 8 o'clock date or a 9 o'clock date or maybe even a 10 o'clock date. And it's not because I'm, seeing or dating other people and I'm trying to fit you in at the end of the day. It's because my established schedule is I'm working in the morning, I'm stopping mid-afternoon, having lunch with my son, I'm starting back up, I'm stopping. I will have dinner with him every night. I'm not going to give that up. Now, if he's gone and doing something else, then cool, but I'm not giving up dinner with my son.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have a second dinner with you, I'm going to have to hit some extra time in the gym, but I'm going to do it. I'll just have 2 meals. But I will do that. But from the entrepreneurial standpoint, what I also want us to understand is not to set ourselves up for frustration and not to set someone else up for failure. So if I know that someone is interested in me, but they work third shift, I don't care how cute they are. I don't care how much we get along. I'm setting myself up for disappointment. I'm setting him up for disappointment. Because if I know I'm not free till 8 and he doesn't get up to get ready for work until 8, how is that going to
Right.
work? The answer is that it's not. And so you have to learn not to complicate things just because you see something that you really want and you just want to try to make it work. You have to remember that entrepreneurship is going to be more complicated by itself, just the nature of the business. When you're talking about relationships, just keep it simple. Know the hours that you are available. Let people know that stuff up
Mm-hmm.
front. Find out how they feel about it. See if they can deal with it. But there's certain situations, as an entrepreneur, one of my questions isn't necessarily going to be, just around what they know about relationships. Mine is sometimes going to be, what's your schedule? What's your schedule at work? How's your schedule working? Do you have weekends off? Do you have evenings off? Because I know me, even though I have that dedicated time for work and for my son, when I'm with somebody, I want to be with them. I want to be up under them. I want to cuddle with them. I want to hold their hand. I want to go to
Right.
movies. I just want someone who's okay with the fact that those may happen later at night than normal, but I still want it. So if I'm dealing with someone who's like, well, I work third shift and then I have a weekend job where I do 12 hours. Ain't nothing else for me to do but say, God bless you, my brother. Enjoy your life. I'm not going to set myself up for that. So you just have to be honest about who you
Exactly.
are and what you want and where you are. So I'm done.
Right. I completely agree. And then that kind of brings us to our next point, quality time versus quantity time. For us,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we have the ability to make the time and to fit it where it needs to go. So if we are really interested in somebody, even though we're entrepreneurs, we will make the time to spend with you. But when
Yep.
we say, sometimes we have that ongoing debate. Well, if they're busy, then that means they're not really interested, and if they really interested, they'll make time. Blah blah blah. This and this and that. I it is what it is. If you're busy, then I can understand you being busy because I get busy too. And sometimes it slips our mind to call somebody back or text somebody back. It's not like we're just not interested at all. So sometimes you do, you have to understand the type of dynamic that you're dealing with. It all it takes is, well, hey, you didn't reach out or you didn't trust me when we say, oh, I'm sorry, I apologize, it's genuine. Because sometimes as an entrepreneur, when you're trying to figure stuff out, especially if it's something new that you're learning, that's where your mind is at that particular time. And if you're like me, you can't leave things unfinished. You can't leave things just not figured out. I'm the type of person where
Mm-hmm.
I have to figure this out before I go to bed. I have to do this before I go to bed. Because if I don't do it now, then I'm going to feel some type of way about it. And it's just like, if that's where my mind is, that's where my mind is until I figure it out. I might walk away to go get something to eat. And during that time, I'll be like, hey, how you doing? But if I'm really into figuring it out, then that's what I'm doing. But when we spend that time with you, we're gonna make the most of that time. I don't care if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, a weekend, during the week, at home, at the park, wherever it's gonna be. We're gonna make the most of that time. And that's because, one, if we're choosing to spend time with you, that says a lot about us. Because trust me, if we're actually working in something that we love to do and it's our passion, we would really be working. We would really rather be working and trying to, do some income generating activities. Because unfortunately, hanging out with you at the McDonald's, the Burger King, the park, the movies, or wherever, it's not necessarily generating us income, but we also understand that we have to take those breaks. We have to walk away sometimes. We have to get away from it. But our mind is always working. Our mind is always on business. So if we're out and you happen to see us pick up the phone, it's not that we're ignoring you. It's not that you're not interesting. It's because somebody may have just sent us a message and it got to do with some money. And we don't necessarily have business hours. Like, we don't go to work 8 hours and be like, okay, we're going to make money during these 8 hours. No, that money might come in at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll be like, wait, babe, give me a minute. Hold on. Let me check this real quick. But I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Not 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll wait. But I'm just saying, when we're in our phone, it's not that we're ignoring you, we're not paying attention to you or anything like that, but it has to do with work. If somebody's asking us a question, we don't have a customer service department that can just answer this question. We have to answer that question. Iman, what do you know about relationships you need to learn? Oh, I guess that's a troll. So let me go ahead and block
Is
that
that a troll?
person. Yes, I don't even know who that is. We would rather work on.
Wow.
We would rather work than do anything else. Yeah, Bernadette. Let me see. She also said the more successful we get, the smaller the dating pool. Yeah, that happens. And of course, we have to be careful about who we date and whatnot. But yeah, when we do stuff or when we have our businesses and it's something that we genuinely like and we enjoy doing, then that's where a lot of our time goes. So you have to understand that if we're choosing to date you, then that says a whole lot. A whole lot. For me, I know it says a whole lot because I'm not the one to just be spending time with anybody and everybody. I will sit at home. I will miss a meal. I don't care if you want to take me wherever. If I'm not interested, I'm not attracted to you, I stay home and eat a sandwich and work on my business.
So the thing about the quality time versus the quantity, what I want to add is that you do want to make sure that you're making the most of it. So if you haven't noticed, we're going into the basic process for you to date successfully as an entrepreneur. We're telling you first to make sure you're clear about what type of interaction you want with another person. And then we're, letting you know exactly what that's going to look like in terms of how you may have to alter things. And so now we're talking about the quality versus the quantity time. And so as I mentioned, you want to make sure that you're not setting yourself up for failure. And you also want to pay attention to what people show you. I had one gentleman, I think I talked about this. It was either one of our videos or it was one I did myself. But I had a gentleman that, we were communicating back and forth for a little bit through Messenger, and we eventually exchanged numbers and we spoke a little bit through text. And so one Monday, he happened to send me a message on a Monday morning. I didn't get back to my phone to answer anyone's text until later that afternoon. Or it might have actually been that evening now that I think about it. And I did send a message in the order of the people who had sent me messages. Now, other people already knew that I was an entrepreneur. Had this person actually done his research on my page, however, he would have known the same thing. But he got in his feelings. He decided that since I didn't have time, because like Ruby mentioned, you have to be careful the memes and the sayings that you hear, because they're not absolutes. That whole if people will make time for what's important to them, people make time for what's important to them yourself out of a good relationship, because you're listening to words and not listening to the person that you're dealing with. So he probably had this same mindset. Well, I guess she, if I was important, she'd make time for me. Number one, I only knew you were weak. What kind of priority did you expect? I'm gonna leave that alone. But number two, what you showed me is not only do you not know how to communicate, because you could have told me that you felt some type of way and we could have had a discussion, but you also showed me that you can't handle the fact that I'm in the beginning stages of being an entrepreneur. I didn't bother going back and forth or arguing or chasing or anything. I just blocked them, moved on with life. And that may seem cold to some people, but what you have to understand is I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want anyone around me who's interested in me that feels like they're being neglected, mistreated, not made a priority, which is why I'm so clear up front. This is what I'm dealing with. But I also try to make sure that I'm mindful of who I'm dating. To bring up Bernadette's point about the dating pool, I do believe that the dating pool gets smaller, but the dating pool also changes, and we have to be aware of the fact that the people we're looking at have to change. And so what I mean by that is there may be some of you out there, when you have that quality time with your person, you want them to be available.
Girl, don't tell me.
Sorry about that.
I was about to say, don't tell me somebody was calling.
Somebody was calling. Anyway, but you don't want to, some of you, that's what I was saying. Some of you may be in a situation where you have to accept that you may not need to date an entrepreneur. Some of you may need to date someone who is an employee, a good employee, who has a regular 9-to-5 and supports your dream, because that person has the time that you're available. That's not a downgrade. That's not you settling. That's what I mean by the dating pool in our mind. It may have to change. Your schedule may be so erratic that you may need to date someone who can complement you with balance. And balance could either mean that they are an employee themselves, or it could be someone who's further enough in their entrepreneurial progress that they do have the ability to clock out at 5 or clock out at 6. You don't want someone like-minded all the time. You don't want someone grinding and hustling just as hard as you, because y'all gonna grind and hustle out of a relationship because you're not around each other. So you want to make sure that you're being aware of where you are. And then just some practical things, like Ruby mentioned with the phone. So one of the things that I have done is set up different notifications on my phone. If an email is coming in and it's not from someone that is established as a business person, they get a different tone. If I'm out, I ignore that message. I'll deal with it later. If it is someone who is established as a business person, I get a different tone. When I hear that tone, or one from my son, that's when I tell the person that I'm out with, hold on 1 second, I just need to check this. That way the person understands I'm not just on my phone because I want to be. And so I leave the sound on so that they understand, oh, nope, that's personal, I'm not going to deal with it. But then when I hear another one, because I want them to start hearing the difference in that tone as well. That way, if we progress, I may be out of the room. They hear one tone, oh, she'll deal with it later. They hear another tone, oh, babe, you might want to come check this. That allows them time, that allows them into your world. So I'm just giving you that as an example of what to do, because you being an entrepreneur is not an excuse to be secretive, quiet, to yourself. If you want to be to yourself, be by yourself. No one is obligated to just be around when you feel like reaching back out. So make sure you're keeping a balance there. So that's all I've got.
Okay. And with that being said, Thank you all for watching again. And hopefully you're finding this topic interesting because I know I am. But today
Me
on Soul
too.
Sunday, Allison and I are discussing relationships and entrepreneurship. Um, Now, next on the list, there is a difference between an entrepreneur and an employee. There is a difference between work hours and work ethic. Um, so for
Hmm.
us entrepreneurs that are dating those that have a regular, job, a regular 9 to 5, then, for us, our peak time may not necessarily be during regular business hours. So, um, wait, let me read this comment real quick. Being an entrepreneur allows you the time to build on your relationship. You know when the best time is to spend with your partner and when you work yourself. Schedule your day so you can have that time free. There's no need to be an entrepreneur if you still can't make time for family. Family will be there even when the job is gone. Yeah. Um yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that because Allison addressed that earlier when she said she has a son and she makes time, and I was in complete agreement with that. So we're not
Hmm.
disagreeing, but yeah, just to reiterate something that was said earlier. But thank you, Sasha. Sasha says very professional, both of you. Congrats to you and Allison. Thank you, love. We appreciate it. But
Thank you.
with the difference in the work hours, if you're dating someone that has a 9 to 5, of course, they're busy during the day. Um, for us, because most people or our customer base may be busy during the day, that's downtime for us. And usually we may use that time for like admin things, to run errands, to do stuff that, people that work a 9 to 5 would normally do after they get off work. We would probably more than likely handle that during the day when it's, a lot less traffic, there's a lot less people in the stores and stuff like that. But then of
Right.
course, after hours, especially for those of us who use social media, we know that most people get on social media. Jerome says, "Is Allison single?" Hey, no, I'm playing.
Oh my God.
You might want to watch this video from the beginning before you go. You better go to her page real quick. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Go look at her page.
Next topic.
But of course, starting with that 5 o'clock, 5:30, to 9 window, that may be the time that we get to posting on
Hmm.
social media, responding, following up with people and stuff like that, especially if you have like a service-based business. Like, with me and Allison, if we want to schedule a coaching session or something like that, and most of our clients work regular jobs or they work during normal hours, then we have to, in order to accommodate them, we may have to squeeze them in after hours. So of course, if you get
Hmm.
off work at 9, I mean 5:30, whatever it is, then you get home and you see us doing some work. Of course, just take into consideration that our business hours may differ from yours just a little bit. It's not that we're ignoring you or anything like that, but it's just for us because our clients are basically those that fall within working normal hours that we have to take care of them after hours. Of course, we're not going to be working, too late at night, 10, 11 o'clock at night. No, because that's not what we want to do. I mean, we don't become entrepreneurs to work more than we worked as far as hours when we were at a regular job. If anything, we learn how to monetize our talents and our passions to the point where we are able to charge what we're worth so we don't have to work as much and we can work less. And us working within that 3-4 hour window is pretty much taking the place of us working a full 8 hour day. But just understand
Hmm.
also too when it comes to the work ethic. As an employee, I'm not saying that you don't have a work ethic, but with being an employee versus being the boss, it's different. Um, you can be at that job and I'm not gonna say you're just gonna get an attitude with the customer all the time, but that's not a reflection on you. If it were to happen, that's a reflection on that company. Me and Allison, being the business owners, we can't just go off and get an attitude and think that's going to reflect on somebody else. No, that comes directly back to us. And so,
Mm-hmm.
our work ethic is just a little different. We have to go that extra mile. We have to do those extra things. Even if, one of those extras is being extra nice while nicely telling somebody, no, this is not going to work out. I'm not the coach for you. You need to probably move on to the next. Because for us, all money is not good money. We will let some money go just so we don't have to deal with a headache. So,
Yep.
of course, like I said, there's a difference when we are dating someone that works a regular job between our work hours and our work ethic. And that's something that you just have to take into consideration if you work a regular job and you choose to date an entrepreneur. Allison?
So to answer that question for anybody else that watches this video, I discuss every relationship status but my own. That's all I'm going to say about that. So let's keep it on the topic. All right. So the next, what Ruby is talking about here with the mindset versus the work ethic and the employee mind, all of those good things. What I want you to really, really understand is, in terms of entrepreneurship and relationships, it really just has to be about not necessarily matching lifestyles. It's got to be more about matching mindset, and that's what Ruby is talking about here. Uh, we do have to be more mindful of how we talk to difficult customers, because if you talk to a difficult customer at your business, someone is not going to go to your personal page and dog you. They're going to go to the company page and dog them because of their interaction with you. But if you are the company and you are the face of the company, and they are going past and through all these other things with you, they're going to go directly to your website where your face is, where the name of your company is, and they're going to dog your company to future customers. And so we have to be more mindful of what exactly is happening. And when you're thinking about entering into a relationship, whether the person is a fellow entrepreneur or an employee, that part isn't as important as two other things. Number one is their confidence in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I said earlier that sometimes it may be better for some people to date someone who has a regular 9 to 5 schedule, because that will be the balance that you'll need to have a relationship with them. But you also want to make sure that that person is confident in what it is that they're doing. If they don't like their job, if they're already dealing with insecurities, and then here you come along with your big business ideas, your creative mindset, you're in different networks, different circles, even though they've got the balance in terms of the schedule, they don't have the mindset, because they're going to constantly either be accusing you of dating people who have more than they do, or they're going to be accusing you of using them to. I've had somebody who said that they had a boyfriend of theirs accuse them of, you just using me so that you can, have your hood moments before you go back to your bougie life. You just want to have a hood moment. That wasn't what she wanted, but he wasn't secure in the fact that he wasn't secure in the fact that he worked in a warehouse while she was running a business. But that was his issue, not hers.
Mm-hmm.
And so you want to understand that you want to make sure the person you're with has the confidence in themselves and what they're doing, that they can hold their own, not just with themselves and their own mindset, but even if they get around certain people that you can't check,
Mm-hmm.
you will have to be protective of that. You may be someone who, and I've had this before as being an entrepreneur, just as someone with 2 degrees.
Somebody calling her again. Allison, I'm trying to wait to see if she comes back because she may have received a call while we were on live. But while I'm waiting for her, um, to just now be tuning in, Allison and I lost her. We were discussing relationships and entrepreneurship, and I'm sure she's gonna come back. Bernard husband's mistress was on her business page being very messy, and that part, girl. No comment though, no comment. But I'm gonna wait to see if Allison, if I can send her an invite. She may have received an important phone call. Then again, maybe not. But we're just gonna see if she comes back. But for everybody that's been tuning in, we want to say thank you for the comments and everything. Yes, it was. I was, just thinking about maybe we should do a part 2 next week. Since we, for the most part, focused on being single and relationships and entrepreneurship. Maybe we can next week focus a little more on actually being in a relationship and being an entrepreneur, which I'm thinking that's what we're gonna do, because of course we don't want this Sunday to get too long. Yeah, and I'm not sure where. Yeah, Allison may have gotten an important phone call that she needed to take, but in the meantime, people who are non-entrepreneurs don't grasp the concept of going out and creating your own money and opportunities, so it's difficult to mesh with people who think they're always on the go. Yeah, and that's why we said, it's not a bad thing to, as an entrepreneur, to date someone with a job as long as they have an open mind. Of course, the employee mindset is very much different from the entrepreneur mindset, but, as long as if the person that I'm dating works a regular job, but he understands, and he's open-minded about what I have to deal with as an entrepreneur, what I do and what I go through, then, in that particular instance, then it's okay, because he's not, being negative towards me or anything like that, as opposed to not understanding what it is that I'm going through and just telling me, downing me and making me feel as if the decision that I made to pursue entrepreneurship was the wrong decision. And then, one of those I told you so type mentalities. That, no, that's not cool. But it is, you do have to be careful about dating, especially with being an entrepreneur, which is why we wanted to do this particular topic on today. But, Allison, if you're there, say something so I can invite you back on. But if not, that's cool. We've pretty much gotten everything that we wanted to discuss today, for the most part, out of the way. But Allison and I will definitely continue this conversation next week when we talk about relationships and entrepreneurship, but from the standpoint of being in a relationship as opposed to being single. Because, of course, both of us have been in relationships as entrepreneurs. And that's quite a bit different than being single, like what I'm going, dealing with right now. Not to say that it's bad or anything, but it's a completely different box of cereal. And I don't know where I just got box of cereal from, because I couldn't think of anything else. But y'all get what I'm saying. But of course, next week we will be here, same time, same place, Soul Sunday with Rubi and Allison, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we will be continuing this particular topic. For this week, the business that I'm going to shout out, of course, is Miss Kiera with Box Sisterhood. I am the ambassador for the month of July. So basically what the Box Sisterhood is, it's a subscription box that basically focuses on melanated sisterhood, supporting each other. For July, the theme was I Am Healing, but she's already sold out for the month of July. So shout out to Kiera and congratulations on selling out for the month of July. But I will actually share a post from her if you all want to follow her and start to go ahead and pre-order the next box for August. The website www.boxedsisterhood.com. Of course, my name is Ruby Davidson. For those that don't know me, I am the Goddess Entrepreneur. You can find me in addition to Facebook, but you can find me online at www.thegoddessgrind.com. Of course, Soul Therapy Radio will be launching later this month. On Monday, we will be announcing the date of our first show. If you would like to purchase my books, The Goddess Grind, I actually had them here. Oh, here's my second book. The other one is up there. But this is the second elevation. The first elevation, we grind with one eye open. Focuses on the chakras and manifesting success, while this book, the second elevation, focuses on universal law. We grind according to law. Allison, you can find her bestillandmove.org, or either on Instagram, I think Twitter, and one other social media outlet, Miss Allison Denise. You can find me on Instagram at Ruby D Artistry. And that's pretty much it. We thank you all for watching and tuning in this week. We will be back next Sunday. Like I said, same time. If you find this video beneficial, definitely like it and share it with those that you may find an interest in it. But until then, we will see you next week. And phone overheated, Team Andrew. Oh, okay, girl. I thought somebody was calling again. I was like, they obviously wasn't watching from the beginning. But it's cool, Allison. You know, we got it next week. We'll actually continue the conversation where we will be discussing entrepreneurships and relationships. But for those that are in relationships, since we focus mostly on being single this time. So, you don't have to come back, honey. Yeah, we thank you all for tuning in. So we will see y'all next Sunday. Bye-bye.